Last set championships, I did a list of Ruby Steel, and someone took it to set championships and did really well with it. Let's see if we can't do it again. Ruby Steel has actually topped, I believe, 5 set championships now. A spreadsheet is linked down below for all those tops, but it wasn't quite like this. Personally, I don't really like the other Ruby Steel lists. Seeing the ones at top, they're all very similar. I played against one at set championships, and I never felt like I was gonna lose the game. Even when I was down 14-0, just looking at my hand, I'm like, I don't see a way I lose this game because of just where we're at. He's might be way ahead, but we're just about to get to that be prepared range. And even if he drops Pete, I had other forms of removal that I never truly felt out of it unless he was able to like drop 2 or 3 Pete's in a row. That was going to be the only way that I really truly felt like I would lose. But I think the deck can be played differently, and I think the deck can be played. I don't want to sound like that guy, but better. And part of that is Tragic Hero isn't in that list, and I think it should be. I think if we're playing Ruby Steel, almost said Sapphire, Ruby Steel, this is the best way to do it. And 12 unequal cards, 0 4-drops. That just feels so weird. Actually, quite a few 5s, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it and the why. A big reason maybe people don't play the deck is the price tag over here. I mentioned that in videos because it is a thing. People are going to see the price tag, say, nope, I'm not going to play it. Nope, I'm not going to build it. I'm not going to spend $170 on a playset of a card. Other people, yeah, no problem whatsoever. So in our 1-drop spot, we're playing 7 of them, Robin Hood and Captain Hook. Not only is Captain Hook's Challenger very good into this format, you have Robin Hood because the shift line, well, it's going to be really strong. So what do you do then in turn 2? We see we have 3 Flynn, 3 Jafar, and 4 Mr. Smees. Flynn is just there as an aggro option. Mr. Smee, also there's an aggro option, which your Captain Hook helps protect him from getting damaged. And Jafar's there as an answer to something like a Diablo in a hidden cove. Magic Broom, also very good option because it survives the Diablo hit. But if they're in the cove, it doesn't. And to me, that was just the main reason I went with Jafar. Instead of it, I went back and forth. I talked to my group about it. They were leaning towards Broom. But at the end of the day, even if they're not in Cove, Jafar being able to take out something like Ursula, Deceiver of All, also because of the 3 willpower, I really decided to stick with the Jafar instead. So if you're versed like Popsicle and you hit something like Hood Flynn or Hood Smee and then Shift Hood on the next turn, you can usually get so far ahead that your opponent can't come back from it very early. This deck could go really quick. Like I said, between that Hood shift line and then Smee and Flynn on 2, and you also have like Sisu on 3 as a multi-quester, this deck can go really quick. Into aggro too, you have a lot of characters early, and you trade better than them, so you can just stabilize the board presence and beat out hyper aggro as well pretty easily. So in those decks, when you want to get faster, you can go ahead and do that. In the ones where you don't necessarily have that ability to, we still have Pete in there to slow down actions versus like Steel Song versus Green Steel Discard. You're going to want to be able to draw cards too. Green Steel Discard can be a little sketchy, but we have Tinkerbell in there as a way. You draw and discard, so you don't truly plus. And keep in mind, if they already have Prince John on board, not the best idea with your Tinkerbell, because when you discard, guess what? Prince John is going to trigger, but we have her in there at 3 because we do have Shift Tinkerbell as well. So being able to Shift Tinkerbell on turn 4, not only versus Hyper Aggro, but versus other decks, is another really strong option. We kind of briefly talked about Sisu. Just the name of the game, Lorcana, it's really getting to that point where card advantage is just so rampant. Like discard so popular, card draw is mandatory, like advantage is so good, and this is a card that gets better when your opponent has advantage. So I really like Sisu in there paired with the Flynn. Again, just gives you that aggressive start. And then when we get to our big characters, 4 Mauis. So dealing with locations a little easier because you have Maui with the rush. Tragic Hero, again, I think this card truly is mandatory to play this deck optimally, because you need the card draw. You really need him for that draw engine. Like I said, Tinkerbell, kind of neat for fixing your hand. But versus things with Prince John, which is also Lemon Lime discard, it's just not good to give your opponent those cards for free either. So you can't just rely on her, whereas Tragic Hero can do it a little bit better or force them to damage him. And now all of a sudden he's just an absolute house with 7 strength. Robin Hood Shift Line, we already mentioned. Obviously, you're going to play that. Anytime you can challenge characters and get lore for it, and if he gets banished in a challenge, you can go ahead and draw a card, replace himself. There's a reason he's expensive. There's a reason he's good. I kind of took the Ruby engine from my Ruby Amethyst deck and kept it intact for the most part. That's where the 3 Flynn's. 3's plenty. I don't like Flynn like insanely a lot this format, but he still almost feels like you need to have the option. I found at 3, it just feels really smooth. Sisu though, Sisu's too good not to play. Forces really interesting interaction with your opponent too. Like unless they have something with the 4 strength to take it out like a fox right away, it just makes it kind of weird when she has a lot of strength, being able to go like 2 for 1 into characters a lot of the time. Like I said, Maui's. And then rounding out the characters, the 2 Tremaine, 2 Medusa, 1 Scar. Those are the ratios I was running in Ruby Amethyst, and it felt so good. Lady Tremaine put in a ton of work. I did not regret cutting down the 3rd Medusa for a 2nd Tremaine whatsoever. I felt like it was really the right call. Her questing for 2 also just puts more pressure on your opponent. The 3 strength, though, is something that kind of comes up. Like, the 4 strength is really nice for a lot of reasons. However, like I said, you can usually control their board or, like, well, they have 3 characters. I don't want to just drop a Tremaine. But a lot of time, at least one's exerted. So you can go ahead and take that out and then make their decision a little bit harder. Or sometimes you can remove both characters, then play your Tremaine, and then they only have the 1 character left. So you can go ahead and force them to get rid of it that way. But Tremaine Medusa, I really like the 2-2 split, having played 3-0, 3-1, 2-1, pretty much any combination that you could think other than like 4 zeros, because that's just weird. I felt like 2-2 is the best way to do it right now, this format. 2 Tinkerbell. I'm not overly sold on her, but the shift line for Tinkerbell and just having the option, the utility, and she's inkable. So if you ever feel like, man, Tinkerbell's just not cutting it in this matchup, you can always just ink her, and that's okay. Scar. I'm going to give a quick little spoiler here. Plug your ears for a minute if you don't want to. I play 3 Be Prepared and 1 Scar. In a format where the best deck has Pete and Ursula, it's kind of risky running those songs. It just feels like harder sometimes to get to it, trying to lower your actions, lower your songs, so you don't just lose cards. Like, it feels so good when they drop an Ursula on you, you lay your hand down, and you have Scar, not Be Prepared, and it's just like, so you know what's coming now, right? And you can't do anything about it, right? Okay. At Set Championship, Scar put in so much work. Like versus Steel Song 2, the one, it's like I threw him down. What did I take out? Took out Ursula, re-readied, took out Naveen, re-readied, and then put 4 damage on a stout-hearted Cinderella, and then just finished it off with anything with 3 strength at that point. Scar feels so good. Like, being able to go 3 for 1 effectively, if not more, is so easy with this card. This card just, it's basically Be Prepared, but you get to keep the card on board. Or you lose him, but you get to keep your other characters on board. Like 3-1 with Scar and Be Prep, like absolutely that's what I think should be ran for Ruby decks right now, like in this current format. Like Scar is just overperformed. Well, why don't you play more? He hasn't overperformed that well. He's a good boy. He's a cat, so maybe we shouldn't even say that. Brawl and Smash, these actions, I am in Ruby Amethyst, I'm on 4 Brawls because I can't play Smash. Let's be honest, that'd be cheating. What are the key differences here, right? Well, Brawl can hit a Hiram. Brawl can hit Daisy Duck. Brawl can get rid of other cards that Smash might not. However, Smash can deal 3 damage to an Ursula at the Cove. Smash can get rid of a Diablo at the Cove. Smash can do things that Brawl cannot. So for the most part, they're hitting the same cards, and most of the time, both options work for what you want it for. Most of the time, it doesn't matter which one you see, it's going to work. However, there's just scenarios where each one can come up differently. So depending on the flow of the game and how things are going, you might want to go one way or the other. Like say they already have the Hidden Cove up, you might just ink the Brawl, then keep the Smash. If you're not against a deck with Hidden Cove, you can go ahead and ink the Smash and play the Brawl. So you can kind of just get a little more utility off the 2-2 split versus the 4-1 of either. And it's funny how Brawl a lot of the time is a 4 of, but Smash never a 4 of. And that's partly in the fact that Steel has just other damage cards too that are songs, and songs are just more efficient. We're playing 7 songs, 4 Whole New Worlds, and 3 Be Prepareds. Just trying to play like the best of the cards. Like that was the whole idea behind this deck. Like these two colors have so many really, really strong cards, so many good cards that we're just gonna play all the best cards, and that was really the focus of the deck. Zeus, really good card. Grab Your Swords can be a really good card. Storm Rage on, Strength of the Raging Fire, all good cards, but they're not the best cards. And we had uninkable count because of Ruby. Otherwise, Storm Rage on is a card that normally I would include in virtually all Steel lists, but because of the Ruby characters being uninkable, so many of them, I just had to kind of tone that back and cut it out of there. I felt like Prep and Whole New World easily the two most broken ones, so we're going to play those. And then we also have 2 Medallion Weights. This was going to be 2 Storm Rages on at first, but I'm like, you know what? We have Brawl, we have Smash, we have other, like Jafar. We have ways to get rid of that Diablo. You got 7 other ways to do it. Did I really need 9 ways? I'm like, no, let's go Medallion Weight. So you can exert it, pay 2 ink, chosen character gets +2, and when they challenge another character this turn, you get to draw a card. So it's essentially a draw engine with a +2 challenger for them. I really like it because now all of a sudden Maui can take out a library or a castle in one swing as well. So you get to draw a card and take out their location in one swing with the Maui. Feels really strong. If you use this card with Scar though too, like chosen character gets +2, so Scar goes to 8, and whenever they challenge another character this turn, well, guess what? Okay, so character, sorry. +2 this turn. You don't get the draw for taking out the location. Yu-Gi-Oh player, not the best at reading my cards, but I'm getting better at it. So chosen character gets +2 this turn, period. Whenever they challenge a character, you get to draw the cards. So your Maui will still one-shot a castle, still one-shot a library, but you will not get the card draw. I apologize for that. I will try to read a little bit more thoroughly, but at least we caught it in the middle of a video, not at locals when we're playing under high-pressure situations. At the end of the day, though, still, point we were making when we said that. You play your Jafar, you use your Medallion Weights, and, well, guess what? Now your Jafar has 8. You challenge character. You draw a card, you kill the character, you ready. You challenge a character, you draw a card, you ready. You get the point. You're going to go ahead and take out 3 cards, draw 3 cards, and it pairs up with Scar really, really nicely. It doesn't pair up with Be Prepared that well. Just another reason to say 3-to-1 ratio there. I really, like I said, I really, really like the deck. I feel comfortable with it into pretty much all the top decks. I don't think it's necessarily bad versus any. I don't think it's necessarily, I'd say it's actually kind of good versus a few of them. But yeah, if someone takes this deck to set championships, does well with it, again, let me know down below. I really love hearing stories of you guys that say things like that. I've had people tell me, oh, I got my Let It Go promo. I didn't make 64, but we got that promo. Like your videos helped out so much. Like that's the stuff I do this for. That's, as a content creator, seeing stories like that is the best thing ever. One of my longtime Patreons, when we had our Patreon, just commented on the Patreon exclusive Discord that more details on that will be opening back up again. That he took the Blurple list and went and got his promo card with that. Like I said, last format, I had a couple people take Ruby Steel and went and got it using the build, and just videos throughout the course of doing this all where they're like, oh, I saw your video, I did this, I learned this, and it really helped me when I went and played. That's why we do this as a creator. Like it's just a hobby, and just hearing success stories from you guys makes it all worth it. So by all means, if any video ever helps you guys, just it just, it makes my day hearing about it. But at the end of the day, you guys need to take a little credit for that too, because you can watch all the videos you want, but if you're not knowing what you're doing and you're not a decent player, you're not topping, period. So put some of that credit back in your own pocket. You deserve it. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, comment down below.